I'd like to welcome Roman
Thank
from
you.
Golden Goose, who hasn't presented, but you're walking around with a jacket with affiliate marketing is not dead written on the back of it. So maybe we'll start there with where affiliate marketing fits in with all this. So first of all, why is affiliate marketing not dead?
Well, actually, I agree with Chris absolutely, because in this industry, in this traffic landscape, you should understand what is the proper traffic source for your offer, for your geo, for your carrier, because a lot of cases when you cannot run social media traffic or Google traffic, for example, a lot of campaigns, adult campaigns in Europe, in Switzerland, in Brazil, in South Africa. So you cannot run these sources, but you can run affiliate traffic and ad networks directly from adult networks. Second case, affiliate traffic, it's easy to get. I mean, in terms of you can get it quickly. For example, our affiliates can set up push campaign in few hours and run traffic at the moment instead of social media, because you need to prepare a lot of things, some tests. So this is the part of traffic landscape, and it can be that because of specifics of geo offers and carriers.
Okay, what about things like ad blockers becoming more sort of important? Does that have an impact on affiliate marketing?
Sorry, Ed?
Ad blockers. A lot of people use ad blockers. Things. Does that impact affiliate marketing? Is that a challenge?
No, we are not facing this problem a lot. Yeah.
Okay, and what about outside of the adult side of it? Where does affiliate marketing fit in with the sort of broader social and Google mix of advertising?
Sorry, I didn't.
Sorry, outside of the adult, I know you
Yeah.
just operate in around adult, but what's the role of affiliate marketing beyond just the adult market?
As Chris said, and I agree, some geos not really compatible with Google in terms of economics, in terms of I mean the situation in the country, like for example in Bangladesh, really low ARPU on carriers, so you almost cannot run the sources, so you need to find cheap traffic. So that's why tier 3 geos, it's really compatible with affiliate marketing.
Okay, so it's sort of very specific to particular regions.
Yeah.
Currently.
It's certain
Chris.
markets facing this hand and neck problem, kind of, where, let's say, when it starts in the value chain that the carriers are giving a very low revenue share to the content providers, that creates the first problem that they first offer low quality content because they cannot afford working on a revenue share with a big brand or whatsoever. And then also that the ARPU they could get out of any user in the market is not enough to sustain a proper Google or social media advertising. So, and then they have to look for other sources. And so that's why the circle, or I call it balance, in some markets is just not right for where I as much as a client wants me to run their offers in the market on Google, I say no, because it will not work. Yes or yes. Despite they just want it for strategic reasons, you know. That's also sometimes the case where they want proper Google traffic, maybe as 10%, you know, to show that they are running some proper campaigns. But I don't believe that in markets such as Indonesia, for example, someone is making money with the Google campaign. Maybe you do. Okay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know someone that does. Yeah.
Sorry, do you have to?
Yes.
No, just answering to this. But yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not a one entity problem. You know, this is a full pipeline of the market. So from the operators to the content providers, or for the portal owners, aggregators as well, media buying and the affiliation as well. The problem might start with the low ARPUs that happens, or might start with bad portals. I mean, this is a very complex situation that it's difficult to solve in a quick, on a short term. But on a medium long term, I think that we are going on a good direction, I think, and try to balance between geos, between clients, and between sources. What is the best we can do to avoid any kind of problems in the long term, and try not to get dead the MVAS ecosystem. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, go.
Yeah, second thing I wanted to add, the affiliate traffic, it's not like absolutely blind because it's not like understandable traffic, because, for example, our affiliates run campaigns in terms of this topic new sources. For example, affiliates run traffic from local messengers, popular in some countries like Indonesia, for example, Line. So it's difficult to run campaigns by yourself from Line, but affiliates can do, and so you can get quality traffic from affiliate, and you understand what is the traffic exactly and how it goes. So it's like a new source in some terms.
Okay, so you can get quite good data about who's clicking on affiliate traffic. Is it as rich as you might get from, say, Google, or? Yeah. We even have some affiliates, some media buying teams who run Google. Sometimes it's grey hat, but it's the same Google, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, and there might be affiliates who are Google media buyers, or who buy on DSPs. So it's bad. It's not right to say affiliation is all bad. You just have to categorize and say, okay, affiliate, it goes from that bad to also potentially good, you know. So, and there are different categories of affiliation traffic as well that need to be considered. And I think then also content providers should choose the ones that are fitting to the specific country regulations and to their brands. But let's say it would not be right to say all affiliation is bad traffic, or
Okay, cool. On the social side of things, Pedro, well, I guess this applies to all of you. You mentioned across all these things, you need sort of quality traffic and that kind of thing. But there's also a sort of age-specific side to it. I think it's interesting what you said about Snapchat, that it's high ARPU but quite low in terms of user numbers. I guess because it's mostly kids, teenagers. Is Snapchat going to become more important as those people grow up?
No, I don't think it's because of the age, in terms of specifically for Snapchat, answering to this part. It's a matter of distribution of the social media, you know, because Instagram, TikTok are much disruptive in terms of the mobile apps that exist nowadays, so they are stronger in terms of marketing and usage, of course. And Snapchat, it's a bit behind in the majority of the countries. Even then, there are some countries that use a lot this specific social media, also because TikTok is banned in some geos. So this is another approach that the kids or younger ages use it. But not just kids, I mean, in general, social media. So we all know that Facebook, it's a higher age usage, and the younger ages are in Instagram and also TikTok. And yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a matter of targeting. Also, this is good for us as media buyer companies or also affiliation. Of course, if you have external media buyers that do media buying in social media, helps us target and use different approaches for them, and also maybe retargeting users through the social media, you know, and try to use multiple channels to try to make the users subscribe to a certain service.
Yeah, and I would like to add on that you really should define your mix or your channels that you think are the correct ones. And I believe that Google should always be the base because it's the biggest and globally most scalable traffic source. But maybe you have 80% of your traffic on Google, but then you identify, okay, I'm running campaigns in Indonesia, and I go to Roman because he has those affiliates working with Line Messenger or with Viber Messenger or whatever is locally relevant. And because for me it's not worthwhile my effort to launch dedicated campaigns by myself on that, and then you can scale by adding this. Or in Africa, there's Phoenix browser, which is a web browser that many users in Africa are using. For me as an agency, it's not worthwhile to explore that because maybe it has 10% market share in some markets, but if you're really deep into some market and you want to scale there, then look into this, look at the distribution. Are people really just using Chrome, or are maybe 30% using Phoenix browser or whatever else, where you can develop a strategy? Or in the market where we do a lot of business, Kazakhstan, there is 75% Chrome or Google dominated, but you still have the Russian search engine Yandex with 25-30% market share. So it's very relevant that if you want to scale beyond your base on Google, then you need to look at those things as well.
Okay, is that quite difficult to manage on an ongoing basis? All those different browsers, affiliates, like it's quite a complex web to get your message out.
Yes, but you need to define also on setting priorities, because what is becoming more and more difficult also in the age of AI, where you get opportunities here and there, chasing more shiny objects. I think many people have big issues by losing their focus on something. This is also why we are deciding not touching social media, and we let this business line Pedro and his guys, because for us it's not worthwhile our effort right now, and we are focusing ourselves to master Google better and better, and trying to be the best there. While for sure there's so many other opportunities, but you need to understand, do you want to do it by yourself, or are you finding the right people who can help you to scale as kind of a third party, adding to your traffic mix. Yeah.
So MVAS players here at the show need to talk to all three of you to find the perfect sort of mix of what they need to reach the audience they want.
But also completing what Chris was saying, this is why it's so important to focus on one source. We have media buyers that are dedicated specifically for Meta ads, or Google, or TikTok, or Snapchat. Snapchat is a bit divided because it represents a lower relevance for us. But this is very important for us also to make sure that they are focused, they don't get lost with so many information that each platform has, and in the end of the day they then can master their platforms, each one of them, and we can make sure we can use every switch that we have inside the platform to make it work.
Yeah, because it's so, on the first level it might be easy to launch your own Google campaigns, but let's say all the layers and the specifics for each country then make the differences, and all the deep optimizations that people don't see actually create the value later on. So this is why, let's say, when we would decide, for example, to launch Meta or TikTok at some point, then it would be a dedicated kind of project group to really dig into this and live inside TikTok for 6 months to develop this strategy to add this to our traffic portfolio. And right now, for us, I don't see the value in the scalability of doing this, but maybe it will be in the future. But I think it's very important at least to think about that, and then to apply what's the right thing for your business.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned, well, both of you in your presentations, about quality traffic is really important, and all of that comes down to measuring it and measuring the success of what you're doing. You, Chris, did allude to sort of CPA maybe possibly being a way of optimizing fraud. I think you put it on your thing. What sort of things should be being measured? I mean, you touched on ROAS, the return on ad investment. In the ad world, there's all the sort of incremental return on ad investment. There's all sorts of metrics. What are the key things, I guess, for each of you? I'll start with you, Chris. What are the key things that should be measured to measure the success of the campaigns that people are running on Google or affiliate networks or social?
Yeah, what I like to do is start from the very simple metrics, which is a CPA, and then adding further layers to check deeper. And for us, in cooperation with our merchants, is the next layer would be the billing information. that they would tell us from the 100 subscriptions and users we generated for them yesterday, how many were actually billed. And then we can connect this info to the placements and understand maybe there is this specific website where we're getting a lot of subscribers from, but absolutely no one will ever get billed. And if we don't get that info, we will optimize for that placement further, right? If the partner will not tell us, guys, here you're generating a lot of users, nice, but we're not making any money. So this is why we need, as let's say, as the next layer, for example, the billing information. And then we can, let's say, with the partners where we have scaled and deeper cooperation, then we could add, for example, the churn as the next metric. Like, as we're talking about mainly about subscription services, we could, for example, add that they would inform us about 24-hour churn of users. So meaning that we're bringing them, yes, we're bringing them subscribers, but let's say if on certain campaigns we have 70% 24-hour churn, it means that we're buying a lot of users for their service that are absolutely irrelevant and drop out of the service. While churn is a bit more blurry, as it could also be that the service itself is low quality and which is something that we cannot change as an agency. But let's say billing, for example, for me is the most important. And with some partners, then they even pass us some kind of lifetime value ARPU metrics related to the users that we can further use to enhance the quality of traffic we're buying. Yeah.
Great. Roman, what sort of metrics do you measure that measures the success of your campaigns?
We measure two things. First, we measure the success on the advertiser side. So we send like sub-sources, and we can identify to go with advertiser what is source better, what is source worst. So we can stop the worst sources and ask about, for example, more payment for better sources to give more traffic and more good traffic. And the second one, we controlling the compliance. So we always to go with advertiser, checking for compliance and trying to keep the level what that is okay for carrier, for advertiser. So these two things.
Yeah, excellent. And Pedro, what are the sort of metrics you measure that?
So I agree in a lot of points that Chris covered. So basically, we work or we look on our side for the potential of the campaign for two aspects. On our side, agency side, even though, as I said in the presentation, it's all connected. On our side, we look at EPC, so because some client can give us $10 of CPA, but the conversion rate is very low, or the opposite, they can give us a lower CPA, but then the conversion rate is very high. So we look at EPC because it's the balance of between these two metrics, and then we see the potential of the campaign itself. This is because some clients have a good connection through a specific aggregator or directly to the operator, so this always influences the conversion rate and the EPC in the end. And also, of course, a very important metric for us is if our client is happy with the ARPU of the users we are delivering. We use the service, the subsource IDs, for example, to try to identify where the user is coming from, and if the user is having a good ARPU, the users are having a good ARPU from a specific service ID, source ID, we will try to focus on this, try to scale it, optimize it, and bring more quality to our clients, having in account the information that we have.
Great stuff. And just sort of before I throw it open to the audience, the title of this sort of session is sort of new sources of MVAS traffic. To some people, I guess social, Google is a new source, but what are some of the sort of things we should be looking out for? What potential new sources of traffic might there be coming down the pipe we might be talking about here in a year, 2 years' time, do you think? If anyone's got an excellent answer.
I can say, I already said, but I can say that in terms of really new sources, it's something local, big or but local. So you can use services like SimilarWeb to see what is the big things in this country. For example, as Chris said, the Phoenix browser really popular in Nigeria, Kenya, Ghana, and you can get traffic from this browser, and it works really good. So the way to find new sources is to discover the country and some local things like messengers, browsers, and popular applications, popular websites.
Excellent. Yeah, it's big but local. Like that sounds ideal. Chris.
And, yeah, bringing in AI again, because we see ChatGPT is going after everything that Google is doing. And they already, the latest what I saw, they already have 5% of the global search volume. So they are gaining market share very fast. So this is also why Google already integrated Gemini into their search, because they are just scared and displaying like AI-generated summaries instead of the search results, which is costing Google a lot of money because they have to show this summary that is answering 90% of the questions of the users already, and they are not even clicking further where Google is earning money. So we have to watch closely. And ChatGPT or OpenAI, they are building their social network to also attack Meta. So there are new platforms definitely coming up. I believe even with AI, it will be very easy to develop new platforms. So there will be a lot of things going on in the next 2, 3, 4 years on new social media platforms, new type of platforms that might have completely different logics. So, I mean, that's a bit future talk, but I think it's also interesting to think about it and to ensure to keep our eyes open that whenever something comes up, so when OpenAI will release their first beta of whatever their social platform will be, I would definitely look at this very closely and to understand what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you make a really good point about the AI-generated search results in Google/Gemini. Does that affect generating traffic from search? Because it doesn't appear. If I search for something in Google now, I expect an AI summary. I don't necessarily then click on links to a particular business. Does that affect traffic generation?
I believe for many businesses, yes. In MVAS, I think not a lot of people are using search traffic.
No, not yet.
So we're all focusing on, not all, but the most I know are using Google Display traffic. So search is not so relevant in MVAS, but of course in e-commerce and other industries, this is making leading to big shifts in general. And I mean, since many people are using now ChatGPT instead of Googling and by themselves finding what they were looking for, I believe there might still be really interesting ways to kind of train the AI somehow, because I also use ChatGPT to research products. Recently, I was looking for a new, let's say, webcam for my computer. You would ask ChatGPT on here, this is my setup, and can you explain me what would be the best choice for me to? And then, I mean, it gives clear product recommendations with Amazon links and whatever. So I believe this will change a lot of our behavior when you understand that people will in the future, everyone. Actually, today my Samsung phone had a new operating system update that it did overnight, and now the Gemini AI is natively integrated on the button, which was not the case yesterday. You know, so it's clearly they are pushing this into our life. That you start talking to the AI, and so I think the user behavior will massively change during the next 2 or 3 years on how we interact with our phones and with the internet in general.
I think it could change very suddenly at any point in the next 2 years.
In Germany, T-Mobile, the biggest mobile operator, they launched their own phone, I think last year or a year and a half, that already got rid of apps. So that phone, doesn't have apps, and it has you can only talk to it, and you talk with the phone and tell what you want to do. And so for me when they introduced it, was a pretty weird concept, but I see now slowly, I see maybe they already got a point. Maybe they have been a bit too early with that, But I see some signs that we're going towards.
Yeah, I
that.
think so.
Yeah.
I wrote about it a year or so ago and thought, I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah,
But actually,
but we don't know if in two
think
years we're getting rid of apps.
yeah,
It's possible.
I think it's just a sort of change in behaviour,
Yeah.
and you'll do it. The other thing I think that's very interesting is Meta's proposal to do this infinite ad thing, where it's going to use AI to use consumer data to create effectively individual ads for individual people. So it'll break down. So you go to Meta and say, I want to advertise this product, and it will create for you, for a fee, infinite ads that will go to all the relevant people, and they'll all get a slightly different advert targeted very specifically to them. And they haven't launched it, but it's what they're proposing on doing. And I think that totally changes the whole ad industry, because suddenly everyone is just going to go to Facebook and say, here's my product, advertise it, and it will create this sort of campaign. So I think there's that side of AI is going to also really change the marketing world, not just for MVAS, but for everything.
Yeah. In terms of scalability and diversity, as you said, I mean, it will be very a bit scary, if you look at it as a user, but a world of opportunities as an advertiser using that platform or TikTok. I'm sure they will also do it.
Oh, I'm sure they'll all do it. That's the thing.
All of them will do it.
But it's a sudden shift, I think, in what the advertising industry is going to be like for MVAS and for everything else. And I think combined with AI search, people using AI search or AI as a search engine is going to change all of this.
I think in the future also, using what Chris was saying, it will exist SEO for AI tools probably. So people fighting to appear as the first option that the AI tool will give. I don't know, something like this.
Yeah,
it'll be AI working out what that SEO is.
SEO
for AI. Then it'll just be AI versus AI.
Yeah. But imagine also an e-commerce funnel. Like right now, when I want to buy this new webcam, maybe I start the research with ChatGPT on comparing the models, and then I go to Amazon, check some reviews, and blah blah blah, and then eventually I buy it. Maybe in the future I would just push this button, hey Gemini, please go to idealo.com where I compare my prices, find the cheapest price for this model, and buy it on the website. And it has my data already. So, and you don't interact at all. You don't go to all the processes that you do right now, where you open your browser, you go to Amazon, or you go to the price comparison website, and you will just talk two sentences, and it will be carried out according to your preferences automatically.
Well, I think ultimately it'll know all your preferences. You'll just say, I need a new webcam, and it'll do all of that, buy it, and it'll arrive.
Buy me a new webcam, you know what I want.
So I need a new webcam, and it'll arrive half an hour later by drone, and that's the world we're heading for.
It will know better what you want. It will know better what you want.
Yes.
Right, so I need a new webcam, and it'll say, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, well, that's the future. Are there any questions for any of our panelists about... Oh, there you are. Sorry, I have my back to you.
No worries. Thank you, Paul. So going back to the starting of the presentation from Chris's second slide, and also Pedro also introduced this concept of having relevant campaigns or traditional campaigns, seasonal campaigns, etc. So with respect to Middle East and Africa, we have few occasions in the year, that is Ramadan, we have 2 Eids, we have Christmas, we have Diwali. But my question is, how do you think will this set us up for success if we are making new campaigns for all of these seasons, which comes maybe 4 times a year? Because operationally speaking, in reality, it will take me 1 week to maybe set up a campaign and test it, and then we go live with that campaign, which will become irrelevant in maybe 30 days for any season or any cultural festival that you're talking about. So if you want to create relevance that is so short term, that is going to be heavy on the human resource, if I put it in perspective with how I manage my resources. So is it that relevant to create relevance in the campaigns, to make more activations maybe, because if I say that my daily cap for X country is 2,000 subscribers, I'm already hitting it really. I'm not going to go beyond it because I know the billing. Am I going to invest in that? Am I going to invest in terms of money, budget, and the resources? And is it ideal to create so much relevance or not?
I would say definitely yes, if we adapt our workflows, because right now, me as an agency, I cannot facilitate that because the workload is not justifying the outcome from this. But with all those AI helpers, sorry, I'm using that today a lot, but it's the case. We can now create all those Ramadan 8, whatever seasonal banners, more or less, with the correctly trained AI that we have in place within minutes. And we have also, and then we can throw it into the mix of the existing campaigns. And if they will not work, they can also be immediately sorted out. So with all those automations that are now possible, we can go back to actually doing this. Many years, 7, 8, 9 years ago, I was doing this with a lot of manual work with designers and this of that, but we all lost of that because we had to scale into more markets and not be so much local focused. But this is why I was mentioning 2 or 3 times today that I believe we can go back to that approach because we have the tools now to actually facilitate it with a reasonable amount of work that we have now with the help of AI to create creatives, to monitor the effectiveness, and then to see if it helps to scale further.
Also, I also want to answer a bit. So basically, if you don't have, if your company doesn't have the means to do it, I would say the best way is to outsource the service. And why? Because we already, or as agencies, already have the knowledge, the processes already are optimized. Probably we already run the specific market, so we know maybe what works better. And this will save you, maybe it will give you a bit of a higher cost, because you have to pay the agency, of course. But in the end of the day, in terms of volume of business, it will be better for you. In terms of time you save, it will be also better. Not only this, but also it's in the user point of view. If you use relevant campaigns, the intent of the user will be much higher, and the probability of the user to stay in the portal will be longer, because he knows what he will be subscribing, if you use, of course, the right approaches in a creative way. And you will increase your ARPU, so maybe you will get the difference to make the payment to the outsource that you are doing. So it's a balance that, of course, companies need to have. But if there's a limitation in operation, the best way is to outsource. In my perspective, and not because I'm an agency, we are part of a media buying agency. But of course, if we need, as an agency, a designer, nowadays we have AI, but if we didn't, maybe we had to hire a freelancer or a person or an agency of design. So it's the same, I'm using the same mindset that I would do internally to try to answer to your question.
So I can agree with guys. So the special campaigns of some special events like sport events, cricket championship or soccer championship, etc. It's always showing better performance, better engagement, and as Chris said, now in our world it's easy to set up these things with AI, with outsourcers. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, just to follow up that question. So when you have a seasonal campaign, so you said like your ARPU will be increasing. To maintain that ARPU, we also need to have the content, right? If the content is not relevant to what we are advertising, obviously the user will be churned much quicker than what we expected. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like the following your question, so we have to spend additionally for buying the content and updating it, right? That is also like, I don't know whether how much it is.
The goal is to find the midterm. Of course, you need to have to be creative with the content that you have and try to find the midterm of the seasonal. I wouldn't say that the seasonal events are that relevant, or are that important for relevance. Maybe the spontaneous events that happened in the world. For example, I don't know, in Portugal, for example, there was a problem with electricity a few days ago. So maybe if you had some kind of service that you could use this creativity, it will be very relevant because it just happened. So people would be much more engaged with it. But of course, this would be a short-term thing. So the best way for you, for example, the World Cup of football, it happens in 4 years. If you have a sports portal with football, maybe using an approach in the World Cup season will be good. And the people that see the World Cup normally, they will see the rest of the championships during the year, the season. So, so yeah.
I think we have one. Oh, sorry.
Okay, good. Yeah, but.
Or only if you can relate it to the service content, it makes sense. True. So if you can relate the holidays to whatever is done in the VOD service connected to it, if you find the angle, but otherwise just using the sake of the holiday for then, it doesn't make sense. So it must be somehow connected, of course. Yeah.
I think we have one more question here, then we'll call it a day.
For Apex and Mesh ads, like as agencies, do you guys get preferential CPC versus me directly going for Google and Meta ads platforms? Like what I mean is, let's say if I directly advertise on ads.google.com and Meta Ads Manager, the cost per click I get versus what agencies would get when I advertise through you. Do you guys get a preferential rates? Or is it same? Like
if we have if we have better rates with them than you supposedly have with them. No, what we do on our side at least is try to build a good relationship with the account managers of the sources. For example, we have a close relationship with the Google accounts, with TikTok accounts, Facebook not that close, but because things work well normally, so we don't feel the need, and also there is not a local team in Portugal where we are based to do it, but is trying to understand how the platform works, try to improve the relationship as we all are doing in here in this event, and try to understand what is the technical approaches that you can do, what kind of variations, and as I said previously, if you know every switch you need to turn in the platform, you will be much more efficient. So it's trying to understand this. If you have a better relationship with the source that you are trying to push, the probability of you having full clarity on the features of the platform is much higher. So yeah. So we don't have these better rates, but we try to invest in this relationship. Yeah, go ahead.